Chapter 28. Yes, I became a thief. There's a regret I still carry with me, one of those hard, humbling memories that never completely fades. It happened at the height of my alcoholism. I had been invited to a Christmas party in Gaylord, Michigan, hosted by the president of the local bank and his wife. It was a well-attended event filled with local business leaders and professionals. As was my habit back then, I made a stop at Mary's Tavern first. But unlike most nights, I didn't go home afterward. I went straight to the party. I remember walking into their home, tipsy but trying to appear composed. Just inside the door was a small 12-inch statue of a sailor dressed in foul-weather gear. It caught my eye. I remember thinking how impressive it looked. I greeted my hosts, made the rounds, and soon interested in the party. That's when I turned to scotch to liven things up. What happened after that is mostly a blur. At some point, I slipped on my trench coat and said my goodbyes. I don't recall leaving. Nothing about the rest of the evening stood out, just another night. But the next morning I woke up with the usual hangover, head pounding, stomach uneasy. I got up, dressed, and headed for the front closet to grab my coat. When I put it on, something felt off. It was heavier than usual. Reaching into my right pocket, I pulled out the object, explained the weight. It was the statue. The sailor in foul-weather gear. I froze. My heart sank as the truth hit me. I had stolen it. I stood there in disbelief, holding this man's property in my hands. A man who had welcomed me into his home. A man who had shown me nothing but respect, and I repaid him by violating his hospitality. I started asking myself the obvious questions. How did this happen? Or what were you thinking, Ed? Why would you do something so shameful? Were you trying to be funny? Were you even aware? I didn't have any answers. I just felt sick. There was no one to blame, no way to spin it. That morning was the moment my denial finally cracked. I could no longer pretend that my drinking was harmless. I was a drunk who had lost control, not just of my body, but of my character. I didn't take the statue to the office. I didn't leave it sitting around. I couldn't look at it without feeling waves of guilt and disgust. The shame was deep and real, but in hindsight, it was also necessary. Not long after, I went to an AA meeting and shared the story. I didn't hold back. It was raw, and it was honest. Afterward, a man who had become my sponsor came up to me, smiled, and said words I'll never forget. Ed, denial ain't just a river in Egypt, that was it. My denial was broken. My healing had begun.